Okay, so welcome everybody to today's Commodities Corner, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So just a quick replay of the major elements we'll be covering today. Live market analysis, we'll go through a watch list of trade ideas, a forecast of where we expect gold, silver and oil to be heading next, and of course we'll be answering questions and live support, and as always, contributions are very welcome. Okay, so let's get going, guys. So let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. So during today's session, we will be going through the gold, silver and oil markets. We'll be also going through the commodity currencies, and we can also have a look at the cryptocurrencies for those of you who were on yesterday's very special session as well, where we talked about the cryptocurrencies which you can trade on binary.com via MT5. The Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies, agriculture, and the cryptocurrency markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Our team of experts has trained and mentored thousands of traders from all over the world to invest in the financial markets with confidence using our exclusive strategies. So for more information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please do visit www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, great. So with that, the top movers today, we have certainly seen a breakout today on oil. Oil is up over 2% on the day and is continuing to surge actually towards the weekly highs. We've just had some data which has come out in the last 30 minutes or so, which has considerably moved the US dollar down. We've seen Australian dollar breakout, the New Zealand dollar breakout, and that news essentially was a CPI data. We have also had retail sales as well. Both of those have been negative for the US dollar and have caused some nice breakouts here with gold, commodity currencies, US dollar weakness, US dollar Japanese yen has sold off, US dollar Canadian dollar has sold off. We've also got the Baker Hughes oil rig count coming up later on today, which can cause explosive moves for the oil market. So with that, we'll move over to the chart shortly, and I'll talk you through some trade ideas. We'll be looking at two types of trades today, so essentially the higher and the lower type of trade. So just as a reminder, the way this works is when you're trading, you can, on the binary.com platform, essentially you can type in a rise or fall trade or higher and lower, and with this type of trade, we'll go through rise and fall. Essentially what you're doing is you're executing a trade based on whether you believe the price will be up or down within a specified time frame. So the way that you win one of these trades, so for example on gold, if you're looking to take a gold trade, start time now, you would look, for example, if you believe the price would be higher over 5 hours, you'd look for the price to be higher, execute a trade, start time now, price to be higher in 5 hours. If the price that you execute the trade, if by the time that you execute the close of the trade is higher than the entry, you would then win the trade. So whatever time frame that is, whether it's 5 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, as long as the price is higher than your entry by the time the trade closes, you win the entire trade. The benefit of this is you don't need a stop loss, so you don't need to actively manage the trade. The benefit is also that you don't need to hit huge number of points or pips on your trade in order to win. You only need the price to close 1 pip or point above your entry and you win the entire trade. And it's all very upfront, so you know what your risk is. So you know what your stake is on the trade, you know what your payout is on the trade. So you can see here, for example, a payout of £5,000 for a deposit of £2,843.26. That gives the payout of 5,000. So I know upfront, if I win the trade, I make 5,000. If I lose the trade, well, I lose the deposit on the trade, £2,843.26. You don't have to take the trade, of course, at that high level. It depends on the size of your portfolio. You could be trading at £5,000 payout. It could be £500 payout, £50 payout, or £5 payout, whatever works within the parameters of risk management for your portfolio. You don't need to just trade for the price to be higher. You can also trade for the price to be lower, so you can make money if markets go down as well as up. And the way that would work is that you would look for the price to be lower. If you believe, for example, that US dollar Japanese yen, let's say, that you believe that that price would be lower by the close today, you could look for the price to enter now, start time now, duration 5 hours, price to be lower, and you go through the parameters again of exactly the payout you wish to get if that trade is correct. The stake is all very upfront, the payout is upfront, and you can purchase the contract and then you are in the trade. Okay, so any questions on that, let me know. I don't think there are any questions. So with that, we'll move over to our trade ideas. We'll go through the charts. As I mentioned before, we go through the charts together, guys. So if there are any questions, any comments, feel free to put those into the chat. I'll go through commodities and we'll do a rundown of all the major trade ideas that we're looking at the moment. So yeah, any questions or any comments, feel free to put those into the chat. Okay, so let's just bring out my screen here for you and we can have a look at that. So let's just double check. You can all see me. Okay, you can all see my screen. Great stuff. Thank you, Sharice. Excellent. So first up, let's actually have a look at some of the commodity currencies here. The Australian dollar, US dollar actually generated a buy signal for us yesterday. This is a trade that we've been in and out of over the last 24 hours. We've seen it just spike and break out as a result of US data, which has just come up at 1:30 London time. So that's been a nice breakout to the upside. Overall, I'm bullish on the Australian dollar, US dollar. I am expecting higher prices in the days to come here. I'm expecting the potential for a retest of the 50-day moving average and the monthly pivot overhead, which is sitting around 0.7917, although I wouldn't be surprised if we just come into some profit taking soon around the 21-day moving average. We've popped up over 50 pips on this move since yesterday, since our entry actually. So I think at the moment, short term, we might be a little bit overdone. I am expecting more upside next week. I do like the Australian dollar, US dollar here for more momentum. It's building up a nice base at the moment. And I'm looking for higher prices as we go into next week. Nice little basing formation at the moment on the chart. It's broken out of this downward trending channel and it's up and running. Retrace entries I'm interested in as well. If it retraces later on, potentially on profit taking, if it comes back down, let's say another 30 or 40 pips here, but it stays above yesterday's high, I would be interested in a re-entry for a buy position for the price to be higher next week, or just look to re-enter into this for a long position. As long as nothing major changes on the price structure between now and the close, I would be looking at the potential to buy into Australian dollar, US dollar. Also, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, have that on the radar as well. That's actually giving us a buy signal. Hasn't moved as much as Australian dollar, US dollar. I still like this for more upside as we go into next week as well. In terms of the move from low to high, it's moved about a little bit similar to Australian dollar, although Australian dollar has moved more pips. I also like this for additional upside as we go into next week. Nice little basing formation. As long as it doesn't give back all the gains later on in the session, I'm also looking for a retrace entry. I don't want to get right in at the daily highs before potential retracements may occur around 4 to 5 o'clock London time. So I'd rather get back in on a retrace entry, but I see the potential for New Zealand dollar, US dollar to form a base and for more follow through as we come into next week. It's coming out of an oversold condition. It's been selling off throughout most of October here, and we can see at the end of September as well, put in a high, and it's now giving us a buy signal. So I would also look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar, potential retrace entry later on today, or we'll look to reload on that next week. Gold, we've had some nice profits on gold over the last week. It broke out, gave us a buy signal earlier on this week. It has broken out of a major trend channel here. Nice V-shaped reversal pattern recovery. It's continued to build a base. It just broke above the 50-day moving average today. It's back above 1,300 today. Exactly what we were expecting actually on the gold market. After last week's Friday's non-farm payrolls, we saw a capitulation move. Gold broke back below 1,270. It broke back to 1,260 US dollars per ounce before finding support, capitulating, producing a buy signal. So we got into that last week after the Sunday open, and we've continued to have some good follow through here. So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now as well, you can see we've had a week's worth of gains. Nice V-shaped reversal pattern. I still see the potential for more upside. Short-term target was around the 1,300 level, so we're pretty much bang on that right now, and we are sitting near the daily highs. I would expect the potential for more upside next week, but probably in terms of the daily moves here, you might see another move back up towards about 13, well, holding above 1,300 would be positive, and I would say next major resistance, you've got 1,304 and 1,315 above that as well. Those are the next major zones, but we've got a nice basing formation on gold here as well. I would be again looking for the potential to reload on that next week. Any pullbacks back towards around 1,290, looking at that as a buy opportunity as well. So that's what we're looking at on gold. Oil, we have a long position on right now, and oil is surging. It broke out earlier on this week. In fact, US oil led the move, 3% gain over the course of Monday this week. We've broken out of a bull flag formation here, and I see this as a continuation pattern. The oil inventories data on Wednesday was bullish. We're seeing continued comments from OPEC, which are very constructive to the price here at the moment, and we're also continuing to see the market rebalance. So I would expect higher prices on oil into the close today. That is actually a trade I would look at potentially executing. From a trade idea point of view, this is a buy. We're long at the moment, looking for the price to close higher. By the end of today, we've got our buy signal on US oil and also UK oil. We've got the Baker Hughes oil rig count coming out later on today, which is at 6 o'clock London time. Essentially, like with US oil, we've also broken out of this bull flag formation, so we've got the potential for a nice continuation pattern to the upside, looking for higher prices into the close today, and we've broken above the weekly highs here. So I've got a buy signal here on oil. So from a trade idea point of view, US oil breaking above the weekly highs today, and also UK oil I expect to follow through as well. It's moving quite nicely now, so I expect a continuation pattern with oil here. And therefore, if we're looking at oil to rally, ideally we would look for US dollar, Canadian dollar to therefore sell off with the inverse correlation. I would suggest there's still time to get into this trade. So this is a trade that we've executed already, a sell short on US dollar, Canadian dollar. That's probably one of the top trade ideas actually today. I'm looking for support to get broken again, break back below the lows from yesterday. We've already got our sell signal on US dollar, Canadian dollar. So we're looking for more downside on this market. We've got a nice basing formation, well, a nice topping formation in development here. You can also just put on major overhead levels of resistance, which we're coming back into for a retest here. And essentially, I'm looking for the potential just of a bear flag formation, follow through. We already broke through support earlier on this week, got in aggressively on that after the minutes of the FOMC statement on Wednesday, and I'm looking for more pressure to the downside, particularly given that the US dollar is weak right now. It's selling off again. I'm looking for the US dollar, Canadian dollar to roll over, break support, and break down more significantly. So that is a trade opportunity that you could look to execute on as well. Just from a trade idea point of view, not a recommendation, but from a trade idea point of view, this is a trade that we're in already. Have a look at it. US dollar, Canadian dollar, potential sell, particularly if oil breaks out. So if oil's breaking out right now. So oil is up and running now. We're breaking above the about 2-week highs now. This is US oil. Fundamentals are bullish. Technicals are bullish. We'll see if the Baker Hughes oil rig count later on today is bullish. If there's a reduction in the amount of oil rigs, that would be a bullish factor here for US oil and Brent crude oil as well. So I like oil for a long here. Okay, so I'll tell you what we'll do. Those are some of the main trade ideas that I see setting up at the moment. So we've gone through gold, oil, commodity currency. So what we'll do, we'll go through the markets together now, guys. We'll have a look at a bit of a scan. I'll go through quite a few markets so we can get a bit of a sense of how the markets are looking at the moment. And I'll tell you what, we'll also have a look at Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin has broken out to all-time highs. It's currently trading above $5,000. So yeah, if you just give me a second, I will bring that up for you too. We'll have a look at Bitcoin, and we'll also have a scan through some of the additional markets as well. I'll tell you what we'll do. First of all, we'll look at the currencies, and then we'll have a look at the cryptocurrencies, which we covered. If you missed that, go over to the binary.com YouTube channel. We did a very special training on how to trade cryptocurrencies. Just as a bit of a point of note, currently the cryptocurrencies are not available to European clients right now on the MT5 platform. So just bear that in mind. But we'll certainly go through that for those of you who are already trading those who are outside of Europe. But let's have a look and a run down through the other major currencies as well. Euro, we've had a long position on euro earlier on this week, and that has continued to follow through. Bullish overall at the moment, although a little bit done for the day, so I would wait for next week for the next opportunity. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, this is more or less holding up a previous level of resistance, which is turning into support. For this trade to work, for there to be more upside, Australian dollar needs to continue to be stronger than the New Zealand dollar, which is the case at the moment. I would suggest it might be a continuation pattern. If we hold on to this price structure into the close, I would look for more upside on this market. I quite like it around these prices, although I'd like to just see how it closes later on in the session as well. Euro pound is a sell right now. Overall, the pound is stronger than the euro, and it has generated a sell signal. It's broken through support. It's got quite a lot of underlying moving averages here and a lot of underlying support here as well. Short-term momentum, I would expect to be bearish today. I would just be looking at the potential for a retrace close back into this, back above support here. So it really depends on whether the pound will continue to be stronger than the euro, which looks to be the case at the moment. So short-term sell signal, you could look at potentially just short in and out trades anywhere from an hour to 30 minutes, but I wouldn't necessarily look for that trade to work out longer term, like over a week or so, because there is a lot of underlying support. US dollar, Japanese yen, pretty straightforward here. Broke down earlier on in the week. It has continued to break down. Gave us a sell signal actually on the Sunday open. We shorted. It's continued to break down. It's found support, the weekly pivot. And we're also at the 61.8 fib level here. We're around 111.79. Yeah, and I mean, no surprises there that US dollar, Japanese yen has broken down here. I would say it's done for the day. We're probably going to see retraces later on in the session. I'd be surprised to see much lower than the daily low. Possibly, though, if it does break through 11, this major weekly pivot here, 111.66, around that zone, we may have a clean run down to approximately 111, but I would say it's probably done for today. It may retrace a little bit later on in the session. US dollar CAD, I like better here for a sell short to take advantage of US dollar weakness. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I also like this for more upside. Really, it's a trade-off between do you go long Australian dollar, US dollar, or long New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Both will tend to move very similar. I still like this for more upside, though. Ideally, what I'm looking at is potential for profit taking later on within the next couple of hours. So if it pulls back a bit more, I'll look for a retrace entry. I don't really want to buy New Zealand dollar, US dollar at the daily highs here. You'll tend to find retracements, end of week profit taking on a Friday, and also retracements which will occur within the next about an hour or so. So any pullbacks, got a lot of previous support here, which will probably provide some resistance here as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of retracements here near the daily highs here. And I'll be looking to get in on a pullback, essentially. Pullback entry. So for me, happy to sit there and wait for a better entry price on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Some may be looking to sell around a previous level of support term resistance. So maybe we'll see a bit of backing and filling here, or we look to take the correlation. So Australian dollar is stronger than New Zealand dollar at the moment, and we could look for Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar for a long here. So that's also one trade to consider. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen is generating a sell here as well. If it breaks through all of this support, breaks the weekly pivot, I'll look for a sell opportunity, although it's probably done for the day. So probably wait for next week on that. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar is breaking out. So again, I believe this market is done for the day, but just bear in mind the trend is changing because of New Zealand dollar strength right now. So we're seeing that breakout to the upside. Australian dollar, Japanese yen could actually be a buy. I would wait a little bit further for confirmation into the close, but that looks like we've got a nice bull flag formation and continuation pattern here as well. You've got a nice pennant here, which is breaking out to the upside. Quite like the risk to reward on this as well. I mean, depends on the platform you're trading on. Binary, all you need to look at is price to be higher, but I do like this from a risk to reward perspective too. So this could be actually quite nice. If it closes beyond this overall resistance, it does need to do a little bit of work there. I'll put that on my watch list actually for later in the session. Might execute along on that before the close if it holds near the daily highs. So that's one of the top trades other than the other long positions or open positions we've got right now. Silver, same story with gold. Both have capitulated since they tested major lows last Friday after non-farm payrolls. You may recall at the beginning of the session on last Friday's Commodity Corner, we had to start just temporarily a little bit later because gold and silver had completely reversed positions, so we needed to execute some positions on those to the long side. And with that, that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen a capitulation on Friday. They both reversed, so we had to essentially execute the trades quickly before it completely capitulated, and it's continued to follow through, both gold and silver after non-farm payrolls, which has been very profitable. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, also forming a bit of a base here. Possibly that will be a long position going into next week. If you continue to see New Zealand dollar strength going into next week, you can see it's just about breaking out, giving a buy signal. I'll also put that on the watch list if it holds near the daily highs. So I just move that over to my watch list there. Pound, Japanese yen building up a base. You've got good pound strength at the moment as well. I would suggest also similar potential for a breakout here too, and again, looking for that more so next week. If it can hold on to these levels going into next week, I'll also put that on the watch list. So from a risk reward point of view, I like that. So going into next week, also let's put that on the watch list. So pound Japanese, you've got several actually to choose from: Australian dollar, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, pound Japanese yen. So all of those could be ready for a buy next week. Oil, we're already long. US oil and UK oil breaking out. Euro, New Zealand dollar. I've had a few questions about this. Is it a short? Is it a long? I'm essentially waiting for confirmation today. It's generating a sell signal, but it does have a lot of underlying support here. So I'll be a bit careful. Maybe short-term momentum is a bit bearish here. You might see a move back towards the weekly pivot, 21-day moving average. But overall, we've got an upward trend. I think I'd rather be long than short. I would wait on this one. Essentially, euro weakness, New Zealand dollar strength is helping this market to sell off right now. It is generating a sell signal, so I'll wait on this one. Not quite ready yet for me, so I'll wait for euro, New Zealand dollar, see whether it gives us a buy signal at support. But overall, it's a sell right now, so I would hold off on executing a position on that right now. Pound Canadian dollar. Pound strength right now is causing a breakout on this. Buy signal is actually being generated at the moment. You could look at that for some more follow through as well, though resistance is not too far away. So we're already starting to see some good momentum, but it's essentially a buy. So if you look at pound Canadian dollar, that is a buy at the moment, but I'll wait on that one for now. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, there we go, broke out. Yeah, so we had a break below support earlier on this week, and we actually were selling Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. We closed out last night because we saw a buy signal, so pretty pleased about that. We didn't actually buy Australian Canadian dollar, we bought Australian US dollar instead. Sometimes the management of your trades will be just as profitable as the actual execution of your profitable trade. So actually correctly closing out of a trade that you should move out of because you're seeing the opposite signal is sometimes a very smart thing to do as well. So we closed out yesterday when we saw this buy signal get generated, and that's popped today. In fact, we didn't buy Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, we just bought Australian dollar, US dollar, which has essentially had the same move. So that's interesting to see that breaking out now. So it's pretty much good follow through on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Well done if you caught that. It's been a nice little breakout. Euro, Japanese yen, not really doing too much, still consolidating sideways. Pound US dollar is a buy. That's broken out, and again here you can see nice pennant formation, follow through move. So what you could look to do is potentially, if pound will keep breaking out and surging next week, you could look to either trade that directly via pound US dollar, pound Japanese yen, or you could look for a sell on euro pound as well. That's another one to consider. Euro CAD, yeah, looks like on the verge of breaking out as well. Yeah, I think that's it in terms of the major currencies I want to go through just with you guys to bring out a bit of a watch list. I'd say going into Sunday, the Sunday open, and depending on the closes, my favorite trades, other than the trades that we're already in, are New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, potential long, pound Japanese yen for a potential long, and also Australian dollar, Japanese yen here for a potential long too. Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. Rather than go through the cryptocurrencies right now, I'm going to suggest that, because it might not make sense to those of you who haven't had the full foundations and background here on cryptocurrencies, I'm going to suggest you go over to YouTube channel, binary.com YouTube channel, and you watch yesterday's training. Okay, we might even be able to put that just in the chat there as well, in the link of that particular training. We went through Bitcoin, Litecoin, and also Ethereum. Bitcoin has broken out today beyond $5,600. It's up over 70% this month. Oh, thank you, Sharice. Perfect. It's up over 70% this month. Bitcoin, you definitely want to have this on your radar, guys. It's a serious market now. It's after the recent collapse in price that we saw over the month of September, it's completely recovered. It went from 5,000 down to 3,000. Within a month, it's up over 75%. Broke out to all-time highs yesterday. Litecoin is up 10% on the day. Ethereum broke out today. These are all markets you can trade on MT5 with Binary. You can now actually deposit, depending on where you are based in the world, you can deposit now on the binary.com platform in cryptocurrencies. So I just want to put that on your radar. If you're interested in cryptocurrencies, actually I'll put that link in the chat here as well for you all. So you've got that, thanks Sharice, you've got that in the chat there as well. If you're interested to learn more, do watch that session from yesterday, and also go across to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. We can assist you with that. So we're seeing some phenomenal moves on the cryptocurrencies at the moment. We've also gone through that today at the Gold and Silver Club. If you go to the Gold and Silver Club YouTube channel as well, we've given you our forecast for Bitcoin and also Litecoin as well, which are breaking out today. Bitcoin's broken out to all-time highs. It's just capitulating at the moment. There's still time to look at Litecoin and Ethereum before they really start to build up momentum. But if you'd like to find out more, go across to those channels, the training that we did yesterday, and also Gold and Silver Club if you'd like to actually be taught how to trade the cryptocurrencies too. Okay, fantastic. So with that, as part of being a member at the Gold and Silver Club, I'll just talk you through that, because essentially once you're a member of the Gold and Silver Club, you get access to all of our charting, you get access to become a member of the Private Members Academy, you get access to our membership site, all of our trade setups, all of our trade ideas, real time, every single day. You get access to trade support to our senior members. Includes all of the following. So you get access to our live trading rooms during the week with interactive Q&A. You get real-time trade alerts delivered instantly by email and SMS. You get the weekly trading plan with technical analysis and our fundamental research. You also get VIP phone and email support directly from our senior traders, and you have access to platform setup. So we configure all of your charts, your indicators, so you've got the same setup as us. So you can see the buy signals, the sell signals, when it's best to close a trade, when it's best to enter a trade, the duration, all of that will be set up for you, okay? So again, to get access to that and to make an application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club, it is www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. Complete the application form, and we will, of course, get in touch with you ASAP. Okay, fantastic. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you a bit of heads up in terms of markets that we're looking at, trades that we're in right now, what is happening in the financial markets currently. So with that, I wish you a profitable day's trading. Have a great weekend, and look forward to work with those of you who will be joining us at the Gold and Silver Club. And thanks again to CheriseBinary.com for putting on today's session, and we'll see you all on the next one. Okay, fantastic. Take care, everyone. All the best. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.